In Toronto right now, $500,000 gets you a one-bedroom condo with maintenance fees that eat another $700 per month. In Vancouver, you aren't buying anything detached under $1.5 million. I want to show you what that same $500,000 buys you in Edmonton, and I think it's going to change how you see this city. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am Tristan. I'm a realtor here in Edmonton with Park Realty, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through 3 real scenarios for what $500,000 actually buys you right now. We're going to cover 3 different areas, 3 different types of homes, and by the end, you will have a clear picture of what your options look like. So let's get into it. The first scenario is Sherwood Park. This is an area that I work in a lot, and for a ton of buyers coming from Ontario or BC, it is a genuine shock. At $500,000 in Sherwood Park, you're looking at a fully detached home, not a semi, not a townhouse, but fully detached. We are talking about a house on its own lot, typically 1,400 to 1,600 square feet above grade, with a garage, a developed basement, and a backyard. Most of these homes were built in the 80s or 90s, so they're not brand new, but they're solid, well-maintained, and in great neighborhoods. Sherwood Park sits just east of Edmonton, and it's its own urban service area, which means that it has its own hospitals, its own schools, its own rec centers, and the commute into Edmonton is maybe 20 minutes depending on where you work. A lot of people who move here from Ontario say it reminds them of a proper suburb, the kind of suburb that actually has everything you need without having to drive 45 minutes for it. The property taxes in Sherwood Park are meaningfully lower than they are in the city of Edmonton. Strathcona County, which is what Sherwood Park falls under, runs a mill rate of about 7.41, while the city of Edmonton is at about 9.6. So on a $500,000 home, that works out to roughly $1,100 per year, or about $90 per month that you are not paying simply because which side of the city boundary you are on. And because there is no provincial land transfer tax in Alberta, you are saving anywhere from $6,000 to $9,000 compared to buying the same property in Ontario. That money stays in your pocket on closing day. One more thing on Sherwood Park that gets overlooked is parking. Almost every single detached home in this range comes with a garage. In Toronto, parking is a listed feature that usually costs extra. Here, it is so standard that it barely comes up in the listing description. 2 vehicles, fully covered usually, and if the garage is attached, you have a direct indoor entry. If you've been renting in Ontario for the last few years, you're gonna notice this immediately. The second scenario is the Southwest Edmonton corridor. Areas like Terwillegar, Glastonbury, Allard, and Glenridding Heights. This part of the city has been one of the most active markets in Edmonton for the past 2 or 3 years, and there's a reason for it. You get newer construction, we're talking, 2005 to 2015 builds, in established neighborhoods that already have schools, grocery stores, and direct access to the Anthony Henday, which is Edmonton's Ring Road. So the commute to anywhere in the city is reasonably efficient. At $500,000 in this area, you are sitting right at the entry point for detached. But I want to be honest with you about what the current inventory looks like. In Terwillegar, for example, there are only a few active listings right now. 2 of them are priced below $500,000. There's a half duplex, and there's another option closer to the $600,000 mark. The options are limited, but in Glenridding Heights, there's a couple of fully detached homes in the $520,000 range. These are typically around 1,500 square feet, open concept main floor, 3 bedrooms up, double garage, and usually an undeveloped basement. Glenridding backs onto the Ravine Trail System, which is one of Edmonton's larger continuous outdoor spaces. You're a 5-minute walk from a paved multi-use trail that runs along the River Valley corridor. So for people coming from Ontario who like to run, cycle, or get outside, this is not a small thing. You get genuine green space access without paying the premium you would pay for anything near the Don Valley in Toronto. The undeveloped basement is worth talking about specifically. You have 600 to 800 square feet of raw space that you can finish for anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 and create a full additional living area, a home office, a guest suite, or a legal secondary suite, depending on the rules in your specific area. You're not just buying a finished product at $520,000. You're buying into something that you can build equity in over time. Every dollar you put into that basement comes back to you at resale, and oftentimes even more. What stands out in the Southwest versus Sherwood Park is the age of the homes. Newer builds mean you're less likely to be dealing with near-term capital expenses. Roof, furnace, windows. When you're spending $500,000, not having to budget $10,000 for a furnace in year 3 really starts to matter. Now, let me talk about what is actually inside of these homes, because this is where the conversation gets interesting for people coming from Toronto or Vancouver. In both of these scenarios, Sherwood Park and the Southwest, you're getting a basement. In Toronto, at $500,000, you're in a condo. There is no basement. And in Edmonton, the basement is standard on virtually every single detached and semi-detached homes. If it's developed, you're getting a rec room, potentially a 4th bedroom, another bathroom. And if it's undeveloped, like in the newer Southwest builds, you're looking at roughly 600 to 800 square feet of raw space that you can finish yourself or leave as storage and a utility room. This is one of those things that I find buyers do not fully appreciate until they are standing in the house. You're not just getting more square footage above grade, you're getting a whole other floor of the house that doesn't exist in condo living. The other thing worth flagging is what newer versus older gets you in terms of layout. Older Sherwood Park homes often have a more traditional layout, formal dining room, separate living room, galley kitchen. That style is not for everyone. The newer Southwest builds tend to be more open concept. Kitchen, dining, and living all flow together, which is what most buyers today are looking for. Neither is better. It depends on how you actually live. And then there's the lot. In Ontario, if you're buying anything detached under 1.2 million in the GTA, the lot is typically narrow, 25 to 30 feet wide. In Edmonton though, at 500,000, you're often on a 40 to 50 foot lot. That means a real backyard. Space for a deck, space for the kids, space to breathe. For people who spent years in a condo or a narrow semi and stopped noticing what they were missing, that outdoor space is one of the things people mention most when I check in with clients after they have settled in. The third thing I want to cover is the market reality right now, because timing matters. Edmonton's spring market starts earlier than most people expect. By mid-March, we are already seeing increased activity. The sales to new listings ratio for Edmonton detached homes over the last 30 days has been sitting around 62%. That's creeping into seller's market territory again. It does not feel like a balanced market when you are shopping in the $480,000 to $520,000 range. That bracket is the most accessible price point for detached in the city, and the competition reflects it. So what does that mean for you, practically speaking? If you find a home that you like in this range, you should not assume that you have 2 weeks or even 1 week to think about it. The well-priced, well-presented homes in this price range are moving within days, sometimes with multiple offers. Being pre-approved before you start viewing is not optional in this price band. It is the difference between being a real buyer and a window shopper. There's a practical sequence to this that I always walk my clients through. Step 1 is always pre-approval. You need your exact ceiling before we look at anything. Step 2 is the neighborhood decision. Sherwood Park and the Southwest Edmonton corridor are going to feel different on the ground, and your daily routine should drive that choice. Step 3 is being ready to move when the right property comes up. Not the very first day of looking, but also not spending 3 months trying to find something that checks every single box on paper. In this price bracket, the A-grade homes in the A-grade condition attract multiple offers. The ones that need a deep clean or fresh paint are where you can find the value. And those are often better buys anyways. From a mortgage standpoint, at $500,000 with 10% down, which is $50,000. Your insured mortgage is $450,000. At a 5-year fixed rate of 4.19% on a 25-year amortization, you're looking at a monthly payment of approximately $2,400 per month. Confirm the exact figure with your mortgage broker, of course, because rates fluctuate. But that is kind of where the numbers sit today. Compare that to what $2,400 a month rents you in Toronto, and you start to understand why people are making this move. So to recap, at $500,000 in Edmonton, you have real options. Sherwood Park gives you an established suburb with lower taxes, a garage, and a solid detached home in a community that has everything it needs. The Southwest Corridor gives you newer construction, ravine trail access, and a great entry point into some of the most in-demand neighborhoods in the city. And inside both of these homes, you are getting a basement, a real lot, and square footage that simply does not exist at this price in most Canadian cities. I put together a free guide that breaks down all three of these scenarios side by side: neighborhoods, what to expect from homes, and the mortgage math. Link is in the description, completely free. If you are seriously considering a move to Edmonton and want to walk through your specific situation, reach out to me. I work with a lot of people making this exact move, and I'm happy to answer questions. All of my info is in the description down below. And if you want to go deeper on the full cost of making this move to Ontario, movers, closing costs, what your monthly life looks like on the other side, I will link that video down here once I make it. It's going to fill in all the gaps that this video did not cover. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.